Throughout history, certain soldiers have stood out for their skill, bravery, and impact on battlefields. These warriors changed how wars were fought and shaped the future of entire nations, from ancient empires to modern conflicts.
It's a whole other company! Oh, shit!
Their tactics left a lasting mark. Their stories reveal the grit of unstoppable warriors and why they're remembered as the fiercest legends in battlefield history. So, get ready to witness some of the deadliest soldiers in history who changed the course of war. Mongolian horse archers. Genghis Khan was one of history's most legendary conquerors. He led an army famous for its deadly efficiency and innovative tactics. At the heart of this powerful force were the Mongolian horse archers, soldiers whose extraordinary skills in mounted warfare helped build the largest continuous land empire ever known. Born into a nomadic culture centered on horsemanship, every Mongolian warrior was a skilled rider. They learned to ride horses even before they could walk. This close bond with their horses gave them unmatched mobility and speed on the battlefield, making them incredibly difficult to catch or defeat. Mongolian warriors were also experts with the bow. They used a composite recurve bow, made of layers of wood, horn, and sinew. This bow was compact enough to shoot accurately from horseback, yet strong enough to pierce armor at long distances. Warriors trained hard to shoot precisely while riding at full gallop, a skill impressive even by today's standards. The combination of horsemanship and archery made Mongolian horse archers extremely versatile. They could fight in close combat, conduct hit-and-run attacks, or perform staged retreats when needed. This flexibility, combined with Genghis Khan's brilliant leadership, allowed the Mongol army to defeat larger and more powerful enemies. Though the Mongol Empire eventually declined, the impact of the Mongolian horse archers remains strong. Their tactics influenced many later armies, and their conquest helped spread culture, technology, and knowledge across Eurasia. These archers showed how mobility and ranged attacks could dominate the battlefield and reshape warfare forever. Their strategic brilliance not only won battles, but also established trade routes and cultural exchanges, leaving a lasting impact on world history. Today, the legacy of the Mongolian horse archers lives on. Their story echoes across the vast Mongolian steppes they once ruled, reminding us of some of the most feared and deadly soldiers in history. Before we move on, check this out. In 1944, a chilling photo emerged from a forgotten Polish bunker, showing a soldier locally nicknamed the Wraith of Warsaw. Rumored to survive countless direct hits, he was said to wear experimental armor infused with steel plates and chemical treatments. Later investigations revealed this was part of a scrapped wartime propaganda film designed to terrify enemy troops. Was this a wartime hidden experiment? Comment below. Spartan hoplites. Few warriors have ever been as feared and respected as the Spartan hoplites from ancient Greece. The city-state of Sparta was famous for creating some of the strongest and most disciplined soldiers the world has known. Spartan boys were raised in a culture that worshipped strength and courage. From the age of 7, every boy entered a strict training program called the agoge. This training lasted until they were in their early 20s, shaping them into tough and disciplined fighters. It was not just physical training, it was also mental. Young Spartans faced hunger, cold, and hard living conditions to build their resilience, independence, and toughness. Spartan hoplites fought in a tightly packed formation called the phalanx. Each soldier was armed with a long spear, a short sword, and a round bronze shield. Together, they formed a nearly impenetrable wall of bronze. This moving shield blocked enemy attacks and allowed the Spartans to strike back with deadly power. The phalanx was the center of Spartan battle tactics, proving effective in many battles throughout history. One of their most famous moments came at the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. King Leonidas and his 300 Spartan hoplites, alongside their allies, held off the huge Persian army led by King Xerxes for 3 days. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Spartans stood firm. Their brave stand has become a timeless symbol of courage in the face of impossible odds. Spartans followed a strict military code. Their famous motto, "With it or on it," referred to their shields. A Spartan warrior was expected to return from battle carrying his shield. Losing it was considered worse than death. If a soldier could not protect his shield, he was expected to be carried home on it, dead but honored. This strict discipline and loyalty made Spartan soldiers terrifying opponents, as their enemies feared not just their strength, but their unwavering dedication. The harsh Spartan way also meant weak or injured soldiers were often left behind. The Spartans believed the strength of the group mattered more than any individual. This created an unbreakable bond among the warriors, making the phalanx a powerful force on the battlefield. Even after more than 2,000 years, the name Spartan still inspires respect. Their unmatched bravery, discipline, and skill mark them as some of the deadliest warriors ever. Their story reminds us of the power of strength, sacrifice, and unity against all odds. Viking Berserkers. Few warriors have earned a reputation as fierce and terrifying as the Viking Berserkers. These legendary Norse fighters were known for their incredible battle skills, seemingly superhuman strength, and a unique battle frenzy that made them fearless and deadly in combat. The word berserker comes from Old Norse, often thought to mean bear shirt or bear coat. This likely refers to the practice of wearing bear pelts into battle, symbolizing the animal's strength and fury. Some also suggest the term could mean bear shirt, hinting that they fought without armor. The Viking berserkers are described in ancient sagas and poetry as warriors who entered a wild, trance-like state called berserker rage, or going berserk. In this state, they were said to show incredible strength, be immune to fire and iron, and unleash a terrifying fury that made them almost unstoppable. Historians still debate the cause of this battle frenzy. Some believe it was linked to spiritual or religious rituals, where berserkers called upon the spirits of bears or wolves to gain their power. Others suggest it might have come from consuming hallucinogenic substances or psychological conditions. Whatever the cause, the berserkers' fearsome reputation is clear. They often served as shock troops during Viking raids, leading attacks with loud battle cries and relentless fury. Their unpredictable nature made even their own allies uneasy, as no one could tell what a berserker might do once the rage took over. Unlike regular armies that fought in strict formations, berserkers were known for their wild and personal combat style. They excelled in individual fights, showing extraordinary feats of strength and bravery. They were often the champions in duels or one-on-one battles, stories of which appear throughout Norse legends. This style of fighting made them valuable in chaos, where they could disrupt enemy lines and cause panic. Berserkers fought with weapons like axes, swords, and sometimes even their bare hands, adding to their fearsome image. Despite their power, the berserkers' wild nature eventually led to their decline. As Scandinavian societies grew more organized and formed regular armies, the unpredictable berserkers became liabilities. Leaders began to see them as dangerous and uncontrollable, leading to their gradual disappearance by the end of the Viking Age. Still, the legacy of the Viking berserkers lives on. They remain symbols of the fierce and untamed spirit of the Viking era. Their stories continue to inspire awe, painting vivid images of raw strength and wild fury that once shook the medieval world. Though they disappeared centuries ago, berserkers are remembered as some of the most deadly and feared warriors in history. Their legend fuels modern fascination with Viking culture, making them an enduring symbol of bravery, fearlessness, and fierce independence. Samurai warriors. Few warriors in history have commanded as much respect and fear as the samurai of feudal Japan. Known for their exceptional martial skills, strict discipline, and absolute loyalty to their lords, these warriors shaped Japan's military, social, and cultural life for centuries. The word samurai means those who serve, perfectly describing their role as devoted servants to powerful feudal lords called daimyos. The samurai emerged around the 10th century during the Heian period and reached their peak during the Sengoku period, a time marked by intense civil war. Their training was rigorous and wide-ranging, focusing not only on martial skills, but also on strategy, ethics, and moral conduct. From a young age, samurai learned archery, horseback riding, and swordsmanship. Their signature weapon was the katana, a curved, razor-sharp sword that was more than just a tool of war. The katana was a sacred symbol, representing the samurai's honor and warrior spirit. Beyond combat, samurai lived by bushido, the way of the warrior. This strict code of conduct stressed loyalty, courage, honor, and personal integrity. Bushido guided every action, shaping how samurai behaved both on the battlefield and in daily life. It demanded that a samurai maintain not only skill in fighting, but also high moral character. This code also taught samurai to face death without fear, accepting it as a natural part of their duty. Although the samurai class eventually declined, their influence remains strong in Japanese culture today. They symbolize honor, discipline, and unmatched martial skill. The image of the samurai continues to captivate people worldwide, standing as a powerful reminder of a time when loyalty and honor meant more than life itself. Their legacy endures as one of the most respected and feared warrior classes in history, echoing through the ages with an indomitable spirit that inspires even now. Samurai continue to influence modern martial arts and popular culture around the globe. Apache warriors. Few groups in history have earned a reputation as fierce and skilled as the Apache warriors of the southwestern United States. Known for their guerrilla warfare tactics, resilience, and unmatched tenacity, the Apache people developed a warrior culture deeply connected to the harsh environment they called home. Living in arid deserts and rugged mountains, these warriors learned to use stealth, cunning, and detailed knowledge of their land to survive and fight. The life of an Apache warrior began early. Boys were raised to be tough, self-reliant, and skilled hunters. They were trained in stealth, tracking, and survival techniques from a young age. These skills, combined with their intimate understanding of the terrain, made the Apache masters of hit-and-run tactics and ambushes. They could strike quickly and then vanish into the wilderness, leaving enemies confused and afraid. Apache warriors used a range of weapons, including bows, lances, knives, and later firearms obtained through trade or battle. Yet their most powerful weapon was their ability to use the land itself. Narrow canyons, deserts, and mountains became traps where they ambushed enemies and moved unseen. They were also expert horsemen, conducting fast raids over great distances. Their endurance was legendary. They could ride hundreds of miles without pause, making them nearly impossible to catch. One of the most famous Apache leaders was Geronimo, known for his fearless resistance against both Mexican and American forces trying to take Apache lands. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Geronimo and his small band managed to avoid capture for years. His courage and persistence became a symbol of the Apache spirit. The Apache also had a deep spiritual connection to their land, which strengthened their resolve. Their traditions, stories, and ceremonies fueled their will to protect their homes. This spiritual strength, combined with their physical skills, made them a force to be reckoned with. The story of the Apache warriors is one of survival against all odds. They showed that being the deadliest soldier does not always mean having the biggest army or the best weapons. Instead, it often comes down to determination, adaptability, and an unbreakable will to protect one's people and way of life. Their legacy continues to inspire respect and awe around the world. Persian Immortals. Few military units have inspired as much fear and respect as the Persian Immortals, known as the Amaka in Old Persian, meaning immortal. This elite force was the backbone of the Achaemenid Empire's army. Serving as the emperor's personal guard and the key infantry in war, the Immortals kept a constant strength of exactly 10,000 men. Whenever a soldier was killed or seriously wounded, another immediately took his place. This seamless replacement kept their numbers steady and created the powerful illusion that they were immortal. This psychological edge played a critical role in battle, intimidating enemies before the fight even began. The Immortals were carefully selected for their skill, strength, and loyalty. Each soldier underwent rigorous training to sharpen his abilities. Beyond their combat skills, every immortal was multilingual and skilled in many types of weapons. They could fight on foot or horseback, making them a highly mobile and flexible force on the battlefield. Their weapons were as diverse as their talents, They carried short spears, swords, and bows, which gave them both close-range and long-range attack options. For defense, they used wicker shields and wore scale armor. This combination of weapons and armor provided protection without limiting their movement. Thanks to this versatility, the Immortals could face a wide variety of battle conditions and opponents. The Immortals' skill and courage were critical in expanding and protecting the Persian Empire. They played a key role in King Cyrus the Great's conquests, helping build one of the largest empires in history. The Immortals fought in major battles against powerful foes such as Babylon, Lydia, and the Massagetæ, constantly pushing the empire's borders further. One of their most famous moments came at the Battle of Thermopylae, where they faced the legendary Spartan king Leonidas and his warriors. Though their numbers and fearsome reputation did not guarantee victory, the Immortals fought fiercely. Their bravery during this battle has been remembered in history as a testament to their skill and determination. Their discipline and organization helped them stand firm, even against the best warriors of their time. The Immortals also served under King Darius and King Xerxes. They were crucial in suppressing rebellions and acted as frontline warriors during the invasion of Greece. Their courage and tactical use during these campaigns enhanced their reputation far beyond their combat abilities. Their appearance was just as striking as their battlefield prowess. The Immortals wore vivid, luxurious uniforms, often adorned with gold and jewelry. This impressive attire was not only a display of the Persian Empire's wealth, but also a psychological tool to intimidate enemies. Their elegant dress highlighted their high status within Persian society and made them stand out as symbols of imperial power. The legacy of the Persian Immortals lives on today. They remain a symbol of the empire's might and grandeur. Their discipline, fighting skill, and the fear they inspired have earned them a respected place in military history. Stories of their battles and their unique immortal status ensure that their name will never be forgotten. Roman centurions. Roman centurions have earned a place in history as some of the most disciplined and effective soldiers ever known. They were the backbone of the Roman army, recognized for their strong leadership, strict discipline, and impressive combat skills. A centurion commanded a century, a military unit of about 80 to 100 soldiers, though the number could vary. The word centurion comes from the Latin word centum, meaning 100. Becoming a centurion was a difficult journey. It required years of military service, a brave record in battle, and the ability to lead men with skill and confidence. A centurion needed to be disciplined and clever, able to inspire soldiers and keep them in line, even in the toughest situations. Centurions played a key role in building the Roman Empire, which stretched across 3 continents at its height. Many of Rome's victories would not have been possible without the leadership of centurions. They often led from the front during battles, their courage and guidance making the difference between winning and losing. One of the most famous centurions was Lucius Vinicius, who served under Julius Caesar during the conquest of Gaul. Caesar described Vinicius and another centurion, Titus Pullo, as shining examples of bravery and military skill, showing the respect centurions earned through their dedication and valor. Centurions were easy to spot on the battlefield. They wore helmets with a distinctive horizontal crest, which helped their soldiers find and follow them during the chaos of battle. They also carried a vine staff called a vetus, which symbolized their rank and authority. Beyond fighting, centurions were known for their strict discipline. They maintained order within their units, made sure soldiers followed their intense training routines, and punished those who broke the strict Roman military rules. Despite their toughness, centurions cared deeply for their men. They shared the hardships their soldiers faced, earning their respect and building strong bonds of trust and loyalty. This close relationship between centurions and their soldiers helped keep the Roman army motivated and effective. Centurions were more than just officers, they were the heart of Rome's military strength. They trained recruits, enforced discipline, and ensured their troops were battle-ready at all times, often facing dangers alongside them in harsh and brutal campaigns. In the grand story of history, Roman centurions represent the power and reach of the Roman Empire. They helped shape an empire that lasted for centuries and changed the world forever. Their leadership not only shaped victories but also the daily lives of soldiers, creating a system of order that influenced armies for generations. The legacy of these skilled warriors and leaders lives on today. Their discipline, courage, and leadership made the Roman centurions some of the deadliest and most respected soldiers in history. Their story continues to inspire respect and admiration for what it meant to lead and fight for one of the world's greatest empires. Knights of the Middle Ages. Few figures in history capture the imagination like the Knights of the Middle Ages. These elite warriors were heavily armored soldiers known for their courage, honor, and skill in battle. Rooted deeply in the code of chivalry and bound by feudal duties, knights played a major role in shaping the military, social, and cultural world of medieval times. The journey to becoming a knight was long and challenging. Noble boys began their training at the age of 7, sent to live in the castles of other lords as pages. There, they learned proper manners, religion, and the basics of fighting. Around the age of 14, they became squires, serving directly under a knight. During this time, they learned advanced combat skills and often took part in battles. If a squire proved himself brave and skilled, he would be knighted in a ceremony around his 21st birthday, pledging to follow the strict rules of chivalry. Knights are most famous for their armor and weapons. They wore chainmail or plate armor, which offered strong protection in battle. Their weapons included swords, maces, and lances, all mastered through tough training. The knight's warhorse was just as important, a powerful, trained animal that carried him into battle. A knight charging on horseback with a lance was a terrifying sight, able to break enemy lines and fight many foes at once. This powerful combination of man and horse symbolized the knight's strength and noble status. Though the age of knights eventually faded, their image remains powerful and iconic. Often romanticized in stories and movies, knights represent bravery, honor, and gallantry. They were among the deadliest and most respected warriors of their time. Their influence has lasted for centuries, and their legacy still shapes how we see the medieval world today. Beyond the battlefield, knights also played important roles in medieval society, often acting as leaders and protectors of their communities. Ottoman Janissaries. The Ottoman Janissaries were among the most disciplined and feared soldiers in history. These elite infantry units stood out for their strict training, strong unity, and deadly skills on the battlefield. Their unique recruitment and preparation made them different from other armies of their time. The Janissaries first formed in the 14th century by Sultan Murad I as a special group of troops loyal only to him. Janissaries were recruited through the Devshirme system, which took Christian boys from their families in the Balkans. These boys were converted to Islam and trained to serve the Ottoman Empire. This system ensured that their loyalty was only to the Sultan. It also created a close brotherhood among the soldiers, strengthening their unity and discipline. The training of Janissaries was tough and thorough. It included physical exercise, weapon training, and education in military tactics. They also learned various crafts and trades, which helped support the empire's economy. This broad education set them apart from many other soldiers of the time. Janissaries were organized into regiments called ortas, each with a specific role on the battlefield. They were among the first troops to use firearms, such as muskets and cannons, which gave them a strong advantage in battle. Even though they were infantry, Janissaries were trained to fight on horseback when speed and mobility were needed. Their adaptability made them a formidable force against any enemy. Though the Janissaries were eventually disbanded in the 19th century due to political shifts and modernization efforts, their legacy still lives on. They were pioneers of the standing army system, moving away from relying on tribal or feudal levies. Their distinctive uniforms, battle music, and fighting skills have been remembered in many works of art and literature. The Ottoman Janissaries were truly among the deadliest and most respected soldiers in history. Their discipline and influence shaped not only the Ottoman Empire, but also the future of military warfare worldwide, setting standards for armies for centuries to come. Their name continues to be a symbol of strength, loyalty, and elite military power. British Redcoats. Few military forces have left a mark as powerful as the British Redcoats. Known formally as the British Regulars, these soldiers were among the most feared and effective fighters of the 18th and 19th centuries. Their bright red uniforms made them instantly recognizable on battlefields worldwide, symbolizing the strength and reach of the British Empire. The Redcoats earned their name from their striking red attire, This vivid color was not only meant to boost morale, but also to intimidate opponents. Beyond appearances, these soldiers stood out because of their strict training, discipline, and advanced battlefield tactics, which set them apart from many other armies of the time. Training for the Redcoats focused heavily on discipline and teamwork. Soldiers learned to move, aim, fire, and reload together in perfect synchronization. This ability to operate as a single, united force maximized their firepower and allowed them to maintain order even amid the chaos of battle. Such discipline often overwhelmed enemies who fought with less organization. Their primary weapon was the flintlock musket, a long firearm that, although less accurate than modern guns, was deadly when fired in volleys by well-trained soldiers. The combination of disciplined formations and skilled musket fire gave the Redcoats control over many battles. The British Redcoats fought in countless military campaigns as the Empire expanded across the globe. They played key roles in the War of Spanish Succession, the 7 Years' War, and the American Revolutionary War, facing diverse enemies in various terrains. Their effectiveness was undeniable, even when viewed through the lens of history that sometimes portrays them as oppressors. One of the most famous images of the Redcoats comes from the American Revolution, where their disciplined volleys and fierce bayonet charges broke enemy lines repeatedly. Their presence on the battlefield inspired both fear and respect from their opponents. The Redcoats were also known for their strict codes of conduct and loyalty to the crown. This unwavering dedication contributed to their reputation as disciplined warriors who could endure harsh conditions and relentless combat. Their influence on military tactics helped shape future armies and define the era's style of warfare. The legacy of the British Redcoats goes far beyond their uniforms or individual battles. Their impact shaped nations and altered the course of history. From the jungles of Asia to the plains of North America, the echo of their synchronized volleys remains a powerful reminder of a time when the world was marked in red by the soldiers of the British Empire. Ninjas! The rivalry between ninjas and samurai is one of the most famous in history, marked by sharp contrasts and fierce battles. While samurai were the elite warriors serving noble families and living by a strict code of honor, ninjas came from humble beginnings, often peasants who had little power or respect. The samurai were expected to protect these common people, but that protection was not always guaranteed. When the ninjas rose to challenge the samurai, they used every tactic available to survive and succeed. Unlike samurai, who valued honor and fought using honorable methods, ninjas had no such constraints. They were willing to use dishonorable tactics to gain the upper hand. Their methods included stealth, deception, and surprise attacks that took advantage of the samurai's strict codes. Ninjas often struck before their enemies could react, winning fights without a direct confrontation. They never wore armor, which helped them move silently and avoid detection. The word shinobi means one who sneaks, perfectly describing their style. Ninjas worked as mercenaries, hired to infiltrate enemy lines, gather intelligence, and carry out assassinations. Their skill in disappearing without a trace created legends of supernatural powers. Stories say they could vanish in a puff of smoke or walk on water, feats that were never really possible but added to their mysterious image. Historical records about ninjas are limited, which only adds to their mystique. Despite the lack of solid evidence, the legends have survived through centuries. Their cunning and mastery of stealth made them deadly opponents, feared by many. The ninja's legacy is a powerful blend of fact and myth, keeping their story alive as one of history's most intriguing warriors. Ninjas also excelled in psychological warfare. They used fear and confusion to weaken their enemies before attacks, spreading rumors and creating illusions that made opponents hesitate. Their adaptability and resourcefulness allowed them to operate in the shadows, influencing battles without ever facing direct confrontation. This unique approach made ninjas not only skilled fighters, but also experts in strategy, making them one of the most feared groups in feudal Japan, and an enduring symbol of stealth, cunning, and deadly precision. Easy Company. Among the most remarkable soldiers of modern history stands Easy Company, a unit from the Second World War that earned its place in legend. While much attention often goes to ancient warriors, some recent military groups deserve recognition for their courage and impact. Easy Company was part of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, itself within the 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army. What made Easy Company truly special was not just their combat skills, but their unbreakable bond. They were an ordinary group of soldiers, much like any other unit, yet their teamwork and loyalty set them apart. Their training was tough, but it was the trust they built among themselves that made them extraordinary. Throughout the war, they fought in some of the most critical battles of the era. Easy Company played a key role during the D-Day invasion, carrying out missions that helped secure the beaches for the armored divisions. They destroyed important artillery positions that threatened the landing forces, opening the way for the Allies to advance. The unit also took part in Operation Market Garden, a daring airborne assault in the Netherlands, and later fought fiercely in the Battle of the Bulge, a major German offensive. Beyond the battlefield, Easy Company was present when Allied forces entered Germany and uncovered the horrors of concentration camps, bearing witness to some of history's darkest moments. Their story has been popularized by the HBO series Band of Brothers, which, while dramatized, remains true to the core events and the spirit of the soldiers involved. Despite being just one small part of a larger regiment and division, Easy Company's actions had a massive impact on the outcome of World War II. Their nickname, Band of Brothers, reflects their close-knit nature. They fought side by side, supported each other through the worst conditions, and stayed united until the war's end. Easy Company stands as a powerful example of courage, loyalty, and brotherhood. Their story continues to inspire, showing how ordinary soldiers, bound by trust and determination, can change the course of history. Their legacy remains a symbol of what true teamwork and sacrifice can achieve on and off the battlefield, highlighting the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. Roman Legionnaires. Few soldiers in history have matched the power and discipline of the Roman legionnaires. Whether during the Republic or the Empire, these warriors were the backbone of Rome's military success. Their incredible victories and vast conquests lasted for centuries, shaping much of the ancient world. But what exactly made them so special? The answer lies in several key factors. First, their training was among the toughest ever seen. Only the strongest and most determined made it through. Those who survived became fierce fighters on the battlefield. They were not just strong, they were also incredibly enduring. Legionnaires routinely marched long distances, sometimes covering several kilometers every day just to reach their battles. This endurance gave them an edge over many opponents and allowed them to maintain stamina during long campaigns. Another important fact is that most legionnaires were experienced veterans. When a soldier joined, he expected to serve for about 16 years. This long-term commitment meant units were filled with skilled fighters, not fresh recruits. Nearly all legionnaires volunteered willingly, driven by pride and a desire to bring glory to Rome. The power of belief and loyalty cannot be underestimated in their success. Their sense of duty and honor bound them to their comrades and to Rome itself. Rome fully equipped its soldiers with excellent weapons and armor. Legionnaires carried sharp swords, sturdy spears, protective helmets, and strong body armor. But perhaps their most famous gear was their large, curved shields. These shields provided crucial protection against arrows and sword strikes. In battle, the legionnaires formed tight columns, using their shields not just in front, but also to their sides and above their heads. This made them nearly untouchable as they advanced or held their ground, often overwhelming enemies with their unbreakable formations. Beyond the battlefield, the legionnaires were also disciplined and organized in camp life and logistics, ensuring their army could sustain itself during long campaigns. Their engineering skills built roads, bridges, and fortifications that helped Rome control vast territories. With their rigorous training, veteran status, strong equipment, and unmatched discipline, Roman legionnaires became a dominant force. It often took large, well-planned armies just to stand a chance against them. Their legacy endures as one of the most effective and feared military units in history. The Roman legionnaire was not just a soldier, but a symbol of Rome's strength and resilience. These deadly soldiers reshaped the course of history with their courage and skill. Their legacy lives on, reminding us how individual warriors can change the fate of nations. From ancient battlefields to modern wars, their stories inspire respect and awe. Understanding their impact helps us appreciate the sacrifices and strategies that shaped our world. Their names remain etched in history as symbols of strength, discipline, and unyielding determination. Their legacy will never be forgotten.